So I moved to Edinburgh 2 weeks ago. Fresh start, me and the missus, new city, close to family, buy a house, eventually have kids, all that good stuff. I've been applying for jobs for 8 months. 8 months. And before this, I was doing it while still working every single day, fitting it around everything else. And as someone who's generally never waited longer than a month for a job in 13 years, never, literally never, I want to try and explain what 8 months of that actually has felt like from the inside because I don't think people talk about it enough, honestly. I really don't. I'll start with some numbers because the numbers are generally mad. And I've applied for 301 jobs on LinkedIn, and that excludes any jobs that take you to an external website or to external company sites where you've got to fill in all your data and everything about yourself from scratch. 102 on Indeed, 61 on Reed, 32 cold calls, actual phone calls to business across Scotland saying, please hire me. And they just laugh and just ends the call, or they just say, we'll take your CV and put it on file. And you're not getting anything from that because no one really cares. They just want to get off the call so they can do whatever they need to do in the background. And to get some sort of help, I registered with 5 recruiters across the UK. And I've now got 14 versions of my CV. 14. I know this sounds mad, and I know you, whoever's listening to this, there's going to be some internal dialogue kicking off in the head. Your CVs must be terrible. He's going for the wrong jobs. His salary's probably ridiculous. And I want to be honest, I've had all these thoughts about myself. There's been elements of imposter syndrome, a lot of self-doubt. My confidence has certainly started to drop, and it's just crept in gradually, month by month. And I've had this tribunal in my head to the point where I'm just like, what the hell am I going to do? And I think that's why I'm making this video now, hopefully to try and organize and collect my thoughts. But here's the thing, right? I've dropped my salary by 25 grand, more in some cases, and that's not a little amount of money. 25 bloody grand. That's below what I was on, and still nothing. I've started applying for entry level roles, things I was doing a decade ago, still nothing. I've got 14 versions of my CV because I found out the hard way that an automated system is reading your application before any human does, and it needs to see a 95% keyword match to the job description, or you just don't exist. So I'm sat at midnight rewriting myself to sound like a different person for each role just to get seen by a machine. And that that was the weird thing to realize, right? The barrier between me and a job interview is not a person no more. It's an algorithm. I signed up with 5 recruiters early on, 3 in England and 2 up where I've moved in Scotland. And one of them, this is a real story, this genuinely happened, sent me a job advert and said, can you take sections from this and reword them with AI and paste them into your CV and send it back to me? So he could send it to the employer. And I just want to make sure we're all clear what's happened there, right? The recruiter, the person whose entire job is to present candidates, asked me to write my own CV, again, using AI based on a job advert he found. And I did it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've got no pride or whatever. Because when you're 6 months in and there's nothing happening to you, you stop asking questions and you just do what you're told. But that was the moment where I understood where we actually were with this whole thing, right? That was the moment of clarity where I've gone, yeah, I'm cooked, I'm doomed. And the thing is, right, the recruit was just adapting to the system, becoming completely impersonal on both sides. The employer using AI to screen applications, candidates using AI to write them, right? So recruiters are using AI to match them, and somewhere in the middle of all that automation is an actual person. That's me in this case, just trying to get someone to look at me, just screaming for some sort of attention in this attention deficit world that we live in. And I've worked in IT for 13 years. I've worked in big cities like Birmingham, London, other cities in the Midlands. I've worked in Channel Islands, across finance, merchant banking, private equity, law, Microsoft partners, all these bougie industries that, you'd throw on your LinkedIn page, whatever. And the last job I had was in AI and automation, generally the best work I've ever done. And I'll stand by that. It's been the best 2.5 years of my career, which I know what you're thinking. There's some irony in this. You've just been talking about how AI and automation has completely disrupted and destroyed the job market, destroyed the personal connection between the candidates and the hiring managers, ensuring that they can share their experiences. I don't blame the technology, I blame the people, because there's three things here that should really be pointed out, because I want to continue working in AI and automation. It's inspired me to start creating my own AI platforms, my own AI solutions, not from a business venture, just from a curiosity and education point, because I'm so fascinated with the technology and I want to continue this. How can people who are fascinated with technology within these businesses, or maybe it's the MDs, that's usually how the MDs and the partners of these organizations work, just not care about the end user experience? And how do they allow their employees, to become lazy? The craft that they've been employed to do, which is to care for people and find good people. How do you completely become inept at that and just become so over reliant on a tool that just produces summaries for you? What are you doing with the rest of your 6 hours in your working day if AI and automation is already doing it? That's what I don't understand. How are these people allowed to get away with this? And this is where I think it's really important that we shouldn't be blaming the technology. We should be certainly looking at how it's used, and we should be looking at who is using it, because a lot of people are going to be getting away, and there's going to be a lot of dangerous outputs. And I think in the job market, this is one of the massive teething issues and one of the biggest issues that I have seen with AI, and how it can be used wrongly and how it has an impact on humanity looking for work, because obviously looking for work is a big part of our lives, right? Anyway, I digress. That was all me high and mighty, whatever, me justifying why I want to work in AI, but I don't want to get bullied for it. Moving on to the next story. So I've started applying for an entry level work. Humble pie, get your foot in the door, I get it. And I get to the final panel at a massive company, and I'm not going to name them, obviously. So 5 stages, 4 weeks. I've had a phone screen, competency interview, technical interview, presentation. They wanted a 20-minute presentation on a hypothetical scenario I made in PowerPoint. It had transitions, not just the fade. I went in. It was amazing. Anyway, 5 stages in, they come back and said, you're overqualified. You're overqualified, right? So I'm not even angry about this, right? I'm past the anger. I'm in a place now where I'm just sort of in awe, because somewhere in that building, a hiring manager has sat through 5 rounds of this, and it was only at the end that it occurred to them, which means either they knew from the start and kept going anyway, and in which case, fucking why? Or they generally couldn't tell until the final panel, which raises a whole host of different questions, but we're not going to go there. And I've had that happen to me more than once, by the way. Different companies, different roles, same conclusion at the end of that long process. And then this scenario, this one, I think this is one of the worst ones, right? Okay, you can have your time wasted. They can actually entertain you. Okay, you've got some sort of respect, whatever. And then you've got the ghost. You get an interview invite. You turn up. 5 minutes, nobody. I send a message. Is anyone there? 10 minutes, nothing. 15, half an hour. I leave. I emailed them the next day, and still to this day, there's like 4 or 5 companies, which they're quite big companies. I haven't received anything back. They organised the meeting and they didn't come to it. I just think about what happened on their end. Something must have happened, right? But nobody thought to send a 2-line email or even to decline the email. And clearly I didn't even warrant 2 seconds of their time. And that's happened again. I need to stress that has happened more than once as well. And this is what I'm talking about. Is it the technology, or is it the way these has using it? Has there been a cultural shift where people have just become so inept at their roles? I don't know. And this is a bit honest, and this is a bit raw, right? Every night for 8 months, imagine saying to your girlfriend, it's still a no. She's moved up here with me. We've got a plan, house, kids, all of that. And every week I'm having the same conversation, nothing again. And she's been honestly incredible about it. I'm so grateful. But it doesn't make it any less of a strange thing to keep saying, especially when you've never had it, never been through this before, right? But, I'm 13 years in IT, and I generally thought I was good at this. Not arrogant, just confident that I knew how to get a job. And 8 months of nothing has made me question everything. Every assumption I've had about myself, which is probably healthy, but it's also quite uncomfortable to sit in. I think what I've realised is that the job market has changed in a way that nobody really has seen, or they even care to admit. It's not just hard, it's the mechanics of how it's changed, the way the applications are screened, the way the recruiters operate, the way companies are using AI to manage their hiring operations. All of this has created a situation where doing everything right still might not be enough. And Nobody's put their hand up and said that out loud from what I've seen. My neighbour here in Edinburgh, right? I got speaking to. She come round with a partner, and they give us a bottle of wine, which is really wholesome. I've never had that. We've moved about a lot, and they were the first people to do it. They're both from India, I believe. She's on a visa. They moved over here a couple of months ago, I believe, and she's getting blanked because people see her visa status and make a decision. Well, whether they're making a decision or whether AIs make a decision, and they're saying no straight off the bat. She seemed as a flight risk or too risky. Which, think about that. Whatever I'm going through, she's going through something harder with even lesser reason behind it, which is just, it's a strange time to be finding work, and that's the only way I can put it. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on how this resolves. If this sounds like something you're going through, please let me know, because I can't bear to log into LinkedIn anymore, because seeing all these bullshit slot posts are honestly jarring. And I hope whoever's going through this or going through a similar scenario or story that I've just been crying my eyes out over, I hope you're okay. I hope you get through it. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.